Good morning, everyone. Anne Metcalf here. It's conscious eating, conscious living conversation time. And welcome to my Sunday morning chat. And this morning, we're going to be looking at stress and how that actually affects our gut buddies and our health. So before we begin, let's just connect with the earth, the soil, where we get our food from, where we are regenerated from, with the air, with nature. And just breathe that all in. And wherever you are, I'm in sunny Sawasan in Delta, British Columbia. It's beautiful this morning. It is July the 18th, 2021. And I'm just so blessed to be here, blessed to be sharing my information with you so that we can thrive, we can be healthier, happier in whatever it is we do. So let's just jump in. Thank you for joining me and thank you for listening to this later. And I was invited to talk to a group of mainly women who were stressed out, burned out actually. And so that led me to some research. And I knew that stress wasn't good for us, but I didn't know how that affected the whole immune system, our gut buddies. And in order for us to be healthy and thriving, we need to have those happy gut buddies, the good microbiome thriving. Because when they thrive, we can thrive. It's just amazing, this beautiful relationship we have with our gut buddies. 37 trillion plus. Somebody said once 10 pounds of bacteria, viruses, and all sorts of things floating around in a whole digestive tube. The moment you taste, smell, swallow the food until it goes out the other end, out your butt. And so we'll be looking at different aspects of that this morning. And so we've got, I'm just going to turn my little picture here up, move it along a little bit. There we go. And there we have our digestive system, like this brook, flowing really, really easily, gently. Like the banks of the brook, our body gets nourished with all the food and the liquid that we take in. And that beautiful digestive system is in flow. It's all in harmony. We're in harmony with the food we eat, the air we breathe, the people around us. And so we want to be like this brook, where everything is nourished and green. But what happens with stress, I discovered, you've got stress, you've got long-term stress, and then you've got short-term. You got worries and that kind of thing, or stressors come along, and oh my gosh, what do I do? And so it's the fight or flight part of the autonomic nervous system comes in. So, okay, we need to deal with this. We need to deal with it fast. And that's when the blood leaves the digestive system and it goes to other parts. Maybe you need to run, or there's some thinking going on you need to do, and you boom, boom, boom. And when that happens, you get cortisol. But when you are stressed out, when you're in fear all the time, stressed out, worried all the time, you get these cortisol levels that are maintained. And that is not good for your total body health, your body, mind, or spirit. It's just not good. And from the scientific level, they're showing how important that is, that we bring more mindfulness, more peace within ourselves. Because the cortisol, it actually does a number on our gut microbiome. So I'm just going to, when this basically our little brook flooded over, and that's like the cortisol flooding through our total body system. And it's an overwhelm. It's an overwhelm for the digestive system. As we'll find out, it's an overwhelm for the liver, the gallbladder, the kidneys, everything. And that's when disease starts happening in our body. I mean, you've got long-term stress, and you've also got long-term habits that actually make a difference in the gut microbiome. And so we've got, I know that you can't see this too well, and the words are probably backwards for you, but I want to go over some of the things that cortisol actually does within our immune system, within our gut. And so what it does, the cortisol, it actually increases inflammation within the gut, and that interferes with the digestion. And it is related to increase in diabetes, Crohn's, obesity, heart disease, many of our lifestyle diseases. The cortisone actually increases the gut permeability, the ability of the digested food particles to get through that one cell thickness wall in our digestive system. And when you've got that increase in permeability, that's when you've got the leaky gut, and things are flowing through into the bloodstream, which goes to the liver first. And the liver's just going like, what is this avalanche of stuff, of food, that it needs to, a lot of the time, detoxify. And what it also does is it lowers the beneficial, the good bacteria. We've got good bacteria, we've got bad. The bad bacteria are only bad when they are out of proportion. There's this disharmony in your digestive system. The bad, so-called bad guys, are actually necessary for clearing away the sludge from the leftover metabolism going on within your gut. And we need that. We need to ship it out of the system. And we don't want that to be absorbed because there's toxins in that. But when there's too many of the bad gut bacteria, that's when we have a problem. And so we've got these low beneficial bacteria, and the cortisol actually interferes with the immune system within the gut. They now know that 60% of our immune system is happening in the gut itself. And then it sort of permeates to the rest of the body, but the majority of it is within the gut. So the cortisol interferes with that. And the other thing that they've discovered is that the cortisol awakens dormant viruses and bacteria in the colon. These little guys, they're just all snuggled in the mucus lining of the colon, and they just keep quiet, like little snakes in the grass. But when they get too much cortisol for too long, all of a sudden they wake up and they get into the system. And of course, they're toxic in themselves. And then their activity actually produces more toxins. So it's like this double, triple whammy. And the other thing that we've got, as well as the stress, the emotional stress, we've got the stress of environmental toxins in the air and the water and in the food. And the glyphosate, they're finding, is interfering with certain processes within the digestion itself. And when we've got too much of the bad bacteria, they create endotoxins, which go out, and then the liver has to deal with those as well. And so you've got a leaky gut, and then you've got kind of like a leaky liver. And it's, the gallbladder is affected, and then the kidneys are affected because they're also sort of a cleansing kind of organ. And there's this great big overload system. They're finding that there's a huge increase in fatty liver disease. And the fatty liver disease used to be associated with alcoholics, but they're finding now that the fatty liver is, from my understanding, basically it's the liver that is just so full of toxins that it can't function. So it's lost its ability to function properly. And the other thing, the gut is supposed to be able to suppress the pathogens when it's healthy, when your gut is balanced and you've got the good bacteria doing what they're supposed to be doing. The gut can't process the pathogens or the drugs or our food properly, and it can't deal with the toxins. And so we're getting all these things that are just sort of compounded within our body. And so the stress that we experience, and sometimes the stress we experience, sometimes we kind of co-create that, with our worry. And if we could realize that we don't have to be stressed by some of those things, and we say, whoa, that's interesting. And if you don't take it on, you just let that stressor be that. I mean, if it's personal, that's a bit different. You have to sometimes set boundaries or deal with it. And how do you deal with it? And so what they're finding is that when you walk in the woods, that the forest walking that they do a lot of in Japan, there's a lot of oxygen, which assists the body. And they're also finding that everything's energy. The plants have energy and they have an essence. And there's something about the plant that actually is healing for the gut bacteria. And deep breathing in and out through your nose. Because when you do that, deep breath, it's a deep, deep breath. When you expand your diaphragm, that's pushing against the vagus nerve in the liver, which also, that all helps with the digestion in our total gut. We're all part of this one system. It's not separate. And that's what we need to kind of remind ourselves. And the carbon dioxide apparently is more of a soothing kind of molecule. When you breathe in and out through your nose, there's a little more carbon dioxide remaining, which apparently helps with cell functioning more than they realized. And then the other is eating organic food. And something else they've discovered is that plants, I've talked about it, I think, last week or the week before, and how plants actually know how to detoxify viruses and bacteria in the soil and the air. And when we eat those plants, we are blessed with that protection. And so it's really important to eat organic foods and eat a rainbow of colors. Just increase the diversity. And if you're used to just having maybe 4 or 5 vegetables, start expanding every week and try something new. I keep wanting to try artichokes, because apparently artichokes are good for the whole digestive process. So I'll maybe if you've got a really good artichoke recipe, put it in my Facebook chat and I will try it. Intermittent fasting, what they're finding with that is they've discovered a bacteria in our colon. And it sits in there, and it's called Akkermansia muciniphila. And what it does, it eats away at the mucosal lining. You're going, oh, that's bad. No, it's good. Because of what it does, it strengthens the mucous lining of the colon. And that's a very key protective mechanism that we have, to have that nice thick mucosal lining. And when you do intermittent fasting, which is basically as simple as you have your dinner at 6 and you don't eat until 7 o'clock the next morning. That's 13 hours. If you go 14 hours or 15 hours, that's even better, because when that's happening, the Akkermansia are actually strengthening. They grow. And we want that. We want lots of those Akkermansia mucinophilia in our colon. We want those guys. And that's one benefit of the intermittent fasting. And it gives your gut a rest as well. And it does a brain wash to help relieve toxins from your brain. So it's a win-win if you can do that. And Dr. O'Brien that I read, he has this 8-day challenge. No, sorry, not 80. 3-day challenge where you eat 8 different colored vegetables throughout the day. And then after the 3rd day, pay attention to your brain, the brain functioning. Do you feel brighter in your head? Because that's a challenge. And I'm going to do that as well. And I've also added some beet juice. I've got these gorgeous beets. I wish I had one to show you. And the beets are about this big. The leaves are, well, they're at least a foot tall. And I've been making beet juice, and that's supposed to help detoxify the liver. So, and it is so good. I thought, oh, beet juice, it's going to taste really rooty, but it doesn't. It's actually quite tasty. So that, my friends, is a little chat on why you need to stop stressing out, because you are causing disharmony and dysbiosis in your gut. So do breathing exercises. Just Cook's Cross is one simple one where you sit there and you just cross your ankles and you cross your wrists like that, and you breathe in and out for 2 minutes. And that creates new neural pathways in your brain so that you can calm down. So you can choose to be stressed, or you can choose to look at it differently. How is this for me? How is whatever's going on, how is that for me? Is this for me to activate something in myself, be a catalyst for something in myself? Well, I can stop worrying about it and take action, do something. And even if it isn't related to whatever it is that maybe you can't control, take an action in another direction. And then your guidance levels, the universe kind of comes in and provides little gems. Go, yes, if I hadn't have done that, this wouldn't have happened. And so just kind of keep a little reminder of that. And so let's see if there's any other little goodies I can share with you. There's the CCFT, which I posted in my Facebook page before. The healing power of spices, because they help with your digestion. And this is just some of the information. And if you look at my Facebook posts, or you want to sign up to my community list where I share different things with people, different recipes, contact me at rosiesjoy11@gmail.com. And of course, what is really good for gut digestion is the ginger lime pickle. And you've got 2 inches of ginger, 1 lime juiced, and a 1/4 teaspoon of mineral salt, like Himalayan salt. It's apparently 84 different minerals in it. And you have that before you eat. And that helps stimulate the digestive processes in your gut. And the other thing too is breathe before you eat. Just breathe. Breathe in and breathe out. And just express gratitude. Gratitude for your food. Gratitude for all that came there with the plants and the soil, the sun and the water, and all those people that brought that food to your table. So just take a couple deep breaths in before you eat. And just calm the system. And please don't eat on the run, because when you eat on the run, when you're hurried, when you eat, you are in the flight or fight mode. You want to be in the parasympathetic, rest and digest. That's where you want to be when you're eating, so that those nutrients in the food are being utilized in a beautiful way by your body. And you know, grow your own. Even if you're on a balcony, you can still grow a bit of lettuce, a bit of green onion, some parsley, some herbs, and perhaps some spinach, depending if it's a sunny balcony or not. And if you've got a garden, start learning to plant vegetables. And you can get the little starters at the nursery, so you don't have to plant from seed. It kind of gives you a few weeks head start. And try that and just see how that works for you. So that is my chat on cortisol, stress, how to relieve the stress. You can do this. You can also go to my app, Authentic Sacred Design, and it's on Android and iPhone. And in there, I've got a quaking aspen, music meditation. You just sit there for however it's 12 minutes long and just relax. Let nature come in and do some nurturing for you. There are different articles. I'm putting in more content, some e-courses, and I'm putting in a tracker book that will allow you to join others and track. It's called Mindful Eating, and it's a bit about sort of losing weight, but it's how can you eat mindfully? And some of what we talked about today will assist you with that. Chew everything until it's mush and then swallow it. Because then you are giving your pancreas a rest, your digestion an assist. And so there's different ways that you can actually help your body. So go to my app and check it out. And there's different things for different people. I'll be putting in some of my poetry. And I've got a few pictures of my travels. So just go to it and you just go to topics. And there's different topics and you can just pop in. And if you go to the reference directory, I have different people that I'm adding as guest experts on different aspects of healthy living. So I invite you to go to my app and play around, have fun. And of course, before we go, our little Bodhi cards, and today we've got I follow my heart. Follow your heart. Follow your essence heart, and it will guide you always. Sometimes the ego gets in the way, and it's true, it happens. But just go back in, meditate, say, I am that I am. And today it says, I am safe. I am surrounded by people who take good care of me. So be willing to receive. Be willing to receive those who smile at you and want to help in some way. So thank you again. Blessings. Have a beautiful day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And until next time, thank you so much.